Google has recently made a major change to how it is ranking websites in its search results. And this is impacting businesses all across the world. Now, I know that might sound like I'm exaggerating just so I can get your attention, but if you think about it, if Google is changing how it decides where to rank websites in its search results, that is going to impact any business that relies on its website to help their business grow. So in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this new update known as Core Web Vitals. And I'm also going to explain to you why Google is making this change, how this is going to impact your business, and what you need to look for on your website to make sure that it is optimized for the Core Web Vitals update so that your website can continue to be a great asset to you and to your business. This update started to roll out in the summer of 2021, so by the time you are watching this video, odds are it's already impacted your website. And spoiler alert, you might be asking, well, has my website actually even been affected by this? I can tell you there's probably a 90% chance that it has been impacted by this. Based on what we're seeing at TechArt, based on a lot on the research that is happening online around this, a lot of websites, I'm willing to say maybe even 90% of the websites on the internet have already seen some impacts from this update. And this update is really centered around Google emphasizing user experience, much more so than it has in the past. In the SEO world, we've really been focused on content. If you're familiar with SEO or getting your website ranked on Google, you may have heard the term content is king. And that essentially means that up until now, and this is simplifying things just a little bit, but up until now, to get your website to rank well in Google search results, you really just needed to pay attention to the content on your website. You needed to make sure that that was optimized properly. So we're talking about things like, blogs, unique content, keyword density, page titles, page descriptions, heading tags, alt image tags, some very technical content related items. But now Google is saying, yes, content is important, but it is no longer the only thing that we're going to look for when we decide where to rank your website in search results. We want to promote websites that offer a supreme user experience. So you might be asking, well, how exactly is Google going to measure the user experience on my website? Are they just going to hire a bunch of people and have them clicking around all these websites and entering kind of their impressions of the website? Well, being Google, they've actually invented an algorithm even for this. And these factors that they're starting to look for are known as page load speed, interactivity, and visual stability. These are the brand new metrics that Google is saying, hey, these are very, very important. You need your website to score well according to these new measurements. The three bottom ones that you see here, mobile experience, pop-up windows, or intrusive interstitials, as Google likes to call them, and website security, these are things that we've known about for quite some time. Odds are you've heard about SSL certificates, mobile responsiveness, and things along those lines. But up until now, I'm willing to bet you probably have never heard of visual stability, or you don't even know how to measure interactivity. So these three new factors are what Google is starting to emphasize in this update. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what Google is looking for and how they are measuring these, so you can take a look at your website and determine, is your website ranking well according to these metrics, or do you have some work that needs to be done to make sure that your website is compliant with this new update? And just in case you're watching this and thinking, well, Robert's just making a big deal out of this, or TechArt is just making a big deal out of this, it's not just me, it's not just TechArt mentioning this. Google itself, in a very rare move, is not only saying, hey, we've made a major change to our algorithm, they are actually providing an extreme amount of documentation around this. And as you'll see in just a minute, they're being extremely thorough in how much information they're publishing about this. So website designers, website developers, SEO specialists, and businesses know exactly what they need to do to their website to make sure that they hit the mark per this new update. I've included some quotes here from some leading voices in the SEO space. This one from Search Engine Journal I found to be very interesting. It says everything from page speed to mobile friendliness to rendering to image optimization to security protocols need to be optimized for. Now, if you read that again, you'll notice that there's not a single word about content there. So I hope you are getting the point. This is not a content related change. This is a shift in Google's perspective. And they're saying, yes, user experience is very, very important. And we want to start rewarding websites that offer a better user experience. And as TechCrunch is saying here on the right-hand side of the screen, the benefit of this is, yes, you should see some increase in your organic search results, but more importantly, you're likely to benefit from offering your users a better website experience. Because the websites that offer their users a better experience are the websites that see a higher time on site, a higher number of pages per visit, and ultimately a higher number of conversions. So while you might be thinking, great, I'm watching this, I've invested a lot of time, money, and effort in SEO over the past several years. Now it sounds like I need to really start looking at my website through a whole new lens. Like, why is Google even doing this? Or they're doing this because they want websites to offer better user experiences. And ultimately, the businesses that optimize their sites according to this new algorithm update, again, not only will they rank better in search results, they'll also reap the benefits of offering a better user experience to their visitors. So ultimately, what does this mean for you and for your business? In a nutshell, this means that having relevant content on your website will no longer be sufficient to outrank your competitors. You now need to make sure that you're offering them a superior website user experience. One of the questions that we have been getting quite a bit from our clients and other businesses that are reaching out to us to ask questions about this, because they know TechArc specializes in search engine optimization, is, will my business be impacted? We've even heard businesses say, I've invested a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort in producing blogs regularly. I've even analyzed every single page of my website to make sure my keyword density is accurate. I've looked at all the alt image tags for hundreds of images and I've optimized those. Is Google really going to penalize my website if I don't optimize my site again for this brand new Core Web Vitals update? And unfortunately, the answer is yes. There are hundreds of articles online documenting websites that have had a very high organic ranking traditionally, that once this once this algorithm update rolled out, saw a significant drop in their organic rankings. So yes, more than likely, your website, not only will it be impacted, odds are it's already been impacted. And if you want to stay ahead of the curve, if you want to continue to attract qualified organic website traffic to your site, you really need to take a look at your site through this lens, see where you stack up, and see what you need to do to make sure that your website continues to be a great asset to you and to your business. So I want to talk to you just a little bit about these three new metrics. The first one, as you can see here, is page load speed. Google actually refers to this as largest contentful paint, or LCP, and this refers to the time it takes your web page to load large elements like an image or a graphic. And I'm not going to get too far into the weeds here, but I want to show you that Google is actually telling us what we need to do to websites to make sure that we score well according to this metric. You can see here that if an image or a content block or something along those lines takes 2.5 seconds or less to load, Google says you're good to go. They're probably going to give you a nod when it comes to the search results. If your page takes 4 seconds or longer to load some of these elements, Google is going to say, hey, this is a bad user experience. We do not want to reward this. We're not going to offer them very high positions in our search results. Now, the amazing thing is here that 1.5 seconds can separate you from good to poor. 1.5 seconds. Just think about that. It's amazing. The second Core Web Vital, the second new one at least, is called interactivity. Google actually refers to this as first input delay, or FID. And in layman's terms, what this means is, let's say you have a button on your website, and when the user clicks on the button, it's supposed to generate a little pop-up form so they can fill that out and contact your business. Or maybe when they click on the button, they're supposed to scroll to another area of that page, or perhaps even just go to another page on your site entirely. First input delay, or FID, measures the time from which the user clicks on the button to that resulting action actually occurs. So in other words, if a user clicks on the button and a pop-up form is supposed to generate, As you can see here, if that happens in 100 milliseconds or less, Google says, hey, this is wonderful. This website offers a great user experience. Let's give them some benefits in our search results. If that takes 300 milliseconds or longer, Google is saying, hey, this website is really not up to par. If there's some competition for a keyword, let's give the nod to a website that meets the good mark here, so 100 milliseconds or less. So that's 200 milliseconds, separates good from poor. So I would challenge you to go on your website right now, get out a stopwatch, click on a button, and see how long it takes that pop-up window or the next page or that scroll to happen. Now, if that's happening in 300 milliseconds or longer, you might have some work to do. The third core web vital is known as visual stability. Google calls this cumulative layout shift, or CLS. And this is not a time-based measurement, but it is a measurement that measures how stable is your website loading all these various elements, especially on various device sizes. If you're anything like me, you might think of device sizes and think you've got, your computer, your laptop, your tablet, and your cell phone. But in reality, there are hundreds of device sizes out there. There are hundreds of different types of phones, hundreds of different types of tablets, hundreds of display sizes on desktop, hundreds more on laptop. And so this is measuring how stable is your website on all of these different devices. And you can see on the screen here how precisely Google is taking this. So you might be asking, well, how in the world am I supposed to measure my website for cumulative layout shift, first input delay, and largest contentful paint? Does Google really expect me to go around my website with a stopwatch, measuring how long it takes elements to load, or how long it takes buttons to click and generate a pop-up form? No, of course not. Google does not expect you to do that. Good news is Google has actually made tools available to developers and SEO specialists, like the folks that we employ here at TechArc. And with these tools, we can take a look at your site and we can see exactly what Google is seeing when they review your site through the lens of Core Web Vitals. And if you would like us to do this for you, I will include a link to a page on our website with more information about Core Web Vitals, where you can actually send us your domain name. We will then review that domain through the lens of Core Web Vitals, and we'll share this information with you so you can see exactly what Google is seeing from the Core Web Vitals perspective when it looks at your website. And also we'll provide you with some recommendations for improvement to make sure that your website continues to be a great asset to you and to your business. So I hope you found this video helpful. As you can see, this is a major shift in the SEO world. It's truly shaking the foundations of everything we know about SEO. Google is now saying content is important, but it is no longer the only thing that you need to look at when you're optimizing your website to stand out in our search results. You now need to make sure that your website is offering a superior user experience to your visitors, and the websites that do that most likely will outrank the websites that do not. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about this video, please leave them below or contact us at gotecharc.com. I'll see you next time.